You're watching an NDTV exclusive. Now, on the eve of the talks between the farmers and the government, one of the most contentious aspects of this entire farm bill controversy has been the confusion over whether the government in fact spoke to farmers before these bills were passed. Remember, the farmers have claimed repeatedly that no one spoke to them, that these bills were passed without any consultation. And when I say farmers, I mean most of the prominent farm groups that are out there protesting. The government, on the other hand, has repeatedly claimed that that's not true, that they held widespread consultation with stakeholders, presumably meaning farmers as well, before the bills were passed. Not that they've produced even a shred of evidence to back this up, but this is a claim they've made again and again. Now NDTV has fresh information which raises serious doubts over the government's claims. But before we come to that, let's first run you through all the different things the government has been saying to defend their claim that in fact they did speak multiple times to farmers before the bills were passed, starting with these comments by senior union ministers.
ये कृषि सुधार कानून पर देश में लंबे समय से चर्चा हो रही थी। अनेक आयोग बने, उन आयोगों ने पूरे देश भर में मशवरा किया, फिर मुख्यमंत्रीगण, मंत्रीगण, मॉडल एक्ट, प्लानिंग कमीशन, नीति आयोग, सब ने एक लंबी एक्सरसाइज इन बिलों को आगे बढ़ाने की दृष्टि से की।
मेरे ख्याल में जो हमारे सचिव हैं कृषि विभाग के, उन्होंने 29 किसान यूनियनों से बात किया। उसके बाद जून में 708 वेबिनार की मीटिंग हुई, जिसमें 21,231 फार्मर आए थे। जुलाई 2020 में 873 वेबिनार मीटिंग हुई, जिसमें 26,196 फार्मर्स आए थे। सब हम डिटेल्स है।
So that was Ravi Shankar Prasad there listing out all the different talks and groups that they've spoken to. In addition to that, these are some of the statements being said by senior ministers in the government. Ravi Shankar Prasad in September, we have had consultations. Narendra Singh Tomar, Agriculture Minister, towards the early part of December, telling the print, consultations over farm reforms going on since Vajpayee was Prime Minister. Nirmala Sitharaman, Finance Minister, at the Hindustan Times Leadership Summit, consultations takes place at various levels, farm laws not done in a jiffy. And also a note, quote unquote, from government sources which was circulated to journalists said that feedback was also obtained from a few progressive farmers. The ministry also consulted a prominent farmers union and even did a change in the ordinance after their feedback. So to try and get to the bottom of exactly what these consultations were, we filed an RTI, or rather my colleague Mariyam Alavi, who joins me, filed an RTI seeking those specific details. The answer that has come, Mariyam, is quite startling.
Yes, Vasu, like you said, the government has repeatedly claimed that they've held multiple consultations with stakeholders, which we can only assume to mean farmers as well, because they would be the largest stakeholder when it comes to farm laws. So what we did is that we filed an RTI with the Department of Agriculture, Cooperation and Farmers Welfare. This is a copy of that RTI, and this is the response we have gotten. The questions we asked were rather simple. We said we wanted information on the 3 farm bills, the contentious 3 farm bills, and we wanted to know about the consultations that the government had undertaken with farmers and farmer groups before the laws were enacted in the country. Major questions that we asked was, did the government hold any consultation with farmer groups prior to the 3 laws being passed into laws? If so, how many such consultations were held? We asked for details of these consultations, including the date of the meeting, the names of the farmer representatives that attended the consultation meeting, and the farmer groups, if any, that they represented, the details and names and designations of all the other attendees who had attended such meetings. And we also asked them if they can provide us with a copy of the minutes of such meetings. So if we see the response that we have gotten on the 22nd of December, it says that this public information officer does not hold any record in this matter.
I see. That's important. Keep holding that document there, because that's very important. That's just a terse one-liner that simply says this public information officer, that is the public information officer embedded in the Agriculture Ministry where you file this RTI, the nodal ministry that is supposed to be in pole position holding these consultations with farmers, says does not hold any record in this matter, thereby, Mariyam, implying that they have no record of these consultations?
Exactly, Vasu. So it's unclear what do they mean. Do they mean that there have been no meetings that were held and hence they have no information? Right. If so, if the meetings were held and they have no records, why were these meetings not recorded properly? Any government meeting with any stakeholder, etc., would have detailed minutes of meetings that are recorded at the ministry levels with the officials. So.
So it's a kind of a drawing of a blank. That's a kind of drawing of a blank when the ministry turns around and says that we have no record of this matter. Now, is there scope for appeal here?
So
can we appeal this?
We have filed a first appeal on this matter because I do believe with the multiple government executives, including union ministers, claiming that they've held multiple consultations with stakeholders. I filed a first appeal with the RTI saying that this response needs to be reconsidered and we need to be provided correct and full information.
Right. Okay, so let's see if that appeal throws up any answers, but certainly the mystery continues over the government and its supposed talks with farmers before the bills came into force.